So, we are back with Dokkan Battle, and I have pulled the LR Super Fizz Paikuhan, and I just want to have a little bit of a discussion about him, my feelings using him, if I think you should pull, you shouldn't. But before we get into that, real quick question, how many stones do you have? We are a week out, about 10-ish days exactly, I think, from Golden Week's characters dropping, unless they come sooner, unless they come later, but about 10 days from Golden Week. How many stones do you have? You know, how many stones do you have? If you want to see my reaction to pulling this character, you can find that in my shorts tab. I was recording the summoning session and I pulled him in 150 stones. If you don't know, Paikuhan's banner has this guaranteed featured SSR, which is, you know, very important because this banner is packed with dog shit is the only way I can describe it. Packed with terrible units, but has a lower number of SSRs certainly. So yeah, if you want to see my reaction, I was doing a summoning session. And by the time I got to pull him for the guaranteed feature, I literally I was 2 minutes in. I was 2 minutes into summoning. I hadn't pulled anything worth talking about, so I was just like yapping, clicking away, and then he showed up. So yeah, that's in the shorts. How many stones do you have? I have 2,070. Prior to this, I was at 22 something, right? 150 minus 7 or 150 plus 70 is like 2230 or something like that. Off the top of my head, maybe 220. But either way, I have 2,070 stones. I always say that I do not spend much on this game. I am at the lower level, lower level of spending. I just buy the subscription. If you're wondering, if you've watched these videos, you've heard me say that. Do I think that subscription is worth it? I do. $10 a month for a game you play a ton of is really reasonable. It's not like in 6 months I would have bought a full game, right? So I think it's really reasonable. It gives you 100 stones a month essentially, and is super cheap. But let's talk about Paikuhan, right? So Paikuhan is a really good unit. I'm doing this as just a postmortem. I haven't found any problems. I immediately gave him link level 6s or 5s or whatever with the orbs. If you're someone who's new and you don't know, you get a bunch of these blue orbs, and if you're on a character who doesn't have any, then up until like level 6 link levels are basically just all those blue orbs, and we get those a ton. I think I had like 600 of them or something before I spent them on this Paikuhan, and before I spent them on this Paikuhan who I got through the red coin shop. If you're wondering if this character is worth pulling, should you pull this character with your red coins? I don't see why not. I guess we can go in there really quickly and just see if there's anything in there, right? So if we take a stroll over to the red coins here, Paikuhan's very good, Janema's very good, but has no teams. The Saiyan, the Brat duos are a little off, mostly because they're a dodging character, and they're not a very recent dodging character, and there is a lot of dodge canceling. Thug is pretty good. It would have been cool if I picked him up. Frieza's a no-go. I picked up this character, they're a no-go. Everything below here is pretty bad, except the Goku and the Cell. This is a pretty reasonable thing to spend any of your coins on. As you can see, I have 344, which means I had 744 before this. I figured this was a no-brainer. If a new powerful EUR EZA shows up during Golden Week, I'll definitely be able to just buy them with red coins, and that's why I felt pretty good about doing that. But yeah, how do I feel about old Paikuhan? Well, Paikuhan is just one of those units who I talk about a lot, which is Paikuhan is Gotenks, he's Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta. He's just the type of character who isn't super interesting to talk about because he just does what he does. There's no frills. When you use Get Serious, he starts doing big attack stats. For that reason, I just put I put additionals on him. But yeah, when you use Get Serious, you get a huge bump of damage. He goes up to like 50 million for me. I know that Truth has him rainbowed, and Truth goes up to like 70 million or something like that. So if you like big attack stats, Paikuhan's here. Do I think that if you just have the excess? So talking about my summoning strategy, I always save at least 2,000 when I can. 2,000 right here means that if there's a pity system for Golden Week, which there should be, then I'll be able to get both DFEs. But more than likely, I'll be able to get both DFEs and maybe even the LR, the Part 2 LR. So that is a big thing to take away from this, is that I only really summon on this like kind of in-between type celebration fluff when I have a huge excess of stones. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to get used to. Dokkan is not a forgiving game when it comes to power creep. Not to say that power creep is the end-all be-all of characters, but because characters like Vegito are so strong, if you have Vegito, you really don't need to summon on anything. But if you don't have Vegito, let's say, you're in a really kind of weird bind, because the next character is going to be stronger, the next character is going to be stronger, the next character is going to be stronger when it comes to these major celebrations. We've already seen Kid Goku start to oust characters in the top 5, and that character is a TWAR. One of the best TWARs we've seen in a long while. But guess what? I didn't pull on him. Why did I pull on LR Paikuhan instead of Kid Goku though? And the answer to that is that Paikuhan is very unique. He's a unique character. And it goes back to that idea that you shouldn't feel too bad about pulling on characters that you like. I don't know if y'all were around for this. Some of y'all might not have been around for this. Maybe y'all didn't play the Budokai games when you were younger, but Paikuhan is one of those characters who showed up, and it was still in that age of like discovery in a lot of ways for you if you were like a kid watching Dragon Ball, where you're like, oh my god, Paikuhan showed up. Is he going to be like a new part of the gang? Like, he's going toe to toe with Goku. Nowadays, we understand that Paikuhan is like a jobber, he gets his shit done, but he's certainly not, Evolution Blue Vegeta or something, right? Like, he didn't stick around. He wasn't a mainstay character who accomplished much. He was in the movie. He was in a bit of a filler arc, and he had a cool fight with Goku. And for me, even though we can look back on that with hindsight and be like, well, why would you ever pull for a Paikuhan character? It's like, I don't know, you grow up with these types of characters, and it's like, let's use one of these many stickers I got from Chain Battle before it died. You grow up with these characters, and they sort of have a special place in your heart, even though they themselves are not considered the hypest. So I thought it would be cool, because when are we truly getting another character like Paikuhan again? Do I think that Paikuhan was the right choice for the celebration? No. Paikuhan was the wrong choice for Cell and Friends in a vacuum. Why is that? It's because now that when we talk about building out these teams, it is just a mess, man. The worldwide chaos isn't good enough. Cell can't lead his own team, but he'll have to. We can drop these two Paikuhans in. Who goes into slot 1? Well, let's say the cells head each other off. Like, let's say both cells float. Okay. Who goes in slot 1 until Paikuhan can transform? Not looking great, right? You probably want to run this character because it's so good. I mean, AGL Cell can go in slot 1, but he is a dodge or die character essentially in the hardest events. You could do Super Cell, Super Easy A Cell, I guess. I'm actually to the point where I would say that something like this might be effective. But yeah, this wasn't the right choice. Nor is Paikuhan the right type of character. Paikuhan essentially needed to be the character who could at least go in slot 1 for the first like 2 turns. Because I think when people think of slot 1 characters, they think of characters who are slot 1 for the entire fight. And I don't think that's true. Characters have roles, if you haven't heard me talk about this. A character like Broly, Big Bad Broly here, does not need to hold down slot 1 for the entire fight. He barely needs to hold down slot 1 for 2 turns. What he does need to do is get stronger characters into positions to succeed. And who are the characters who are the strongest? It's Vegito and Gogeta. And just as a quick, summation of that, this character only needs to get to turn 5. Or, I should say that. He only needs to get to whatever it is. Yeah, what it was. Meets up with Vegeta. Turn 4, right? Turn 4. He only needs to get to turn 4. Turn 4 unlocks this Vegeta who can go in slot 1 essentially indefinitely. He's a super strong slot 1. You could crush the Potara, blah, blah, blah. The reason that Paikuhan doesn't really work is because it's still hard for Cell to get this team off the floor, right? It's really hard. as well as Cell not having access to them. That said, I do think Paikuhan provides a very fun option, which is that his team by itself is super sick, as well as being a great character to go onto the Daima team, which forms around the Glorio shell, which is much like Cell, 2 floating Glorios and a bunch of strong characters. You can get Daima Goku in slot 1, then bring Paikuhan in when he transforms. You can get the gods or the Super Saiyan 4s in slot 1, then bring Paikuhan in when he transforms. You can get Vegeta in, either base or flip him and do the dodging Goku. But yeah, it just goes to say that Paikuhan is not the character that was needed here, but it's hard to hate him for being that. And I think that the great thing about, I guess we can talk about Cell now. I think the great thing about Cell is that while he is not, he was not treated as well as the remainder of like these kind of filler celebrations. He certainly himself is not that bad, as well as if you're a big Cell fan, I'm a big Cell fan. I pulled for this Cell because I'm a Cell fan, not because you should pull for him. I say that all the time. I did not pull for this guy because I think he is a good, worthwhile summoning unit when Golden Week is around the corner. But I did pull for him because they reused a lot of animations, or they didn't reuse a lot of animations. His super attack is pretty much reused. He has a revive that's new. He has the intro that's new, but is essentially from the support memory. So if you're a big Cells fan, this really doesn't rule out another high value Cell. And I think that's important to say. I think Super Cell could still come. I think Super Perfect Cell or Perfect Cell or another or Transforming Cell or what have you can still come, and it will not matter too much. But that's going to be my thoughts for now, I think, on the thing as a whole. If you're wondering what's in my gift box, by the way, it's these stupid monkeys I cannot get rid of. Can I get rid of it? Can I use any? Nope. All right. But yeah, I guess that's going to do it for me now. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We all gonna make it, and I'll see you for the Golden Week video.